I think on the surface level, it has everything that appeals to a classical ballet. You know, there was room for huge corps de ballet numbers, if you think of that Venetian masquerades. So that was the initial attraction. But really what drew me to the story was, as soon as I began to research Casanova and the subject of Casanova in the 18th century, I realized there was so much of his story that I didn't know about. I was only aware of the sex side of Casanova and how he's become iconic in all of the literature and the way that we portray him in multiple medias. And to get beneath that and start learning that actually he was quite possibly a genius. He translated 7 languages. He spoke 7 languages. He translated the Iliad. He started the first state lottery. He conversed with some of the greatest minds of the 18th century. There was so much more to him than I was aware of, or that I think people are aware of. And that's what attracts me to a story. Trying to tell new stories in ballet, for one, are really important. And on a secondary, when you can unearth something that you don't think people know about, I think that then you leave the theatre thinking, and that's what I'm looking for, yeah. Yeah, it was one of those glorious occasions where the collaboration just was very fruitful. I was beyond excited to work with Kerry Muzzey, who's an LA-based film composer. The sets and costumes were done by Christopher Orams, who is a Tony Award-winning designer and also specialises in period pieces, so that was lovely. And I guess one of the most important parts of this production is that the fact that we had Ian Kelly co-write the scenario, and he is a Casanovist and a specialist in 18th century, so he really brought the authenticity and made sure that we upheld all the aspects of the 18th century that we were researching. It is the medium of ballet, and we have no words, and then movement is our language. So there is a lot of artistic license. Everything that you see in the story on this stage, in some way or in some form, happened within his 12 volumes of memoir. There was so much life to pull from, and it's unbelievable that, you know, we have to remember that these are from Casanova's words. It's his perception of what happened, and in that I think he took artistic license possibly in his own writings. So they were very much the starting point for us, and then from there you let it blossom with what we're trying to make today. And I think that's how we try to keep the integrity of what was originally on paper, but also how we breathe fresh life into this production now and try to make it relevant for the 21st century and the dancers and the companies that are now performing it worldwide. I think that is one of the biggest benefits of being a living choreographer, is that a work is never finished. It's a first draft, it's a second draft, it's a third draft. And the beauty when you move to a new company, a new culture, you see how they inject life and their DNA into these characters. And it would be foolish not to take that on. Yes, there is choreography, yes, there is a structure, but I'm really interested in how the artists of the Latvian National Ballet are then going to tell that story.